The purpose of this standard operating procedure is to describe the procedure taken for the water samples that will be taken from the Texas A&M University golf course. The water at the golf course is thought to be contaminated with biological and chemical contaminants, so water samples will be taken to determine the contaminants and their concentration levels. The sampling depths used in this procedure will be taken at depths that can be reached with a dipper and a bailer. The water samples will be analyzed and tested to determine whether the current concentrations exceed or meet the established action levels and if they pose a risk to the public health, welfare, or the environment. The equipment used was stakes, rope, a dipper, bailer, ice chest, ice pack, sample containers, pH meter, X-Tech meter, scissors, chain of custody forms, labels and seals, gloves, goggles, vest, water bottles, and a logbook. Procedures. Using stakes, we chose our first sample at a random location downstream. Then we put a stake down every 5 feet going upstream to mark our last 6 samples. Sampling with the dipper. The dipper consists of a plastic beaker attached to the end of the plastic pole. It is used to sample liquids and free-flowing slurries. We chose a random location and dipped our dipper into the water. We then moved upstream 5 feet and dipped the dipper again for the second sample, and so on. Between collecting samples, we cleaned the dipper with distilled water. The following pictures highlight the samples we took and the equipment that was used to take these samples. Sampling with the bailer. The bailer is used for sampling well water, so in this procedure it will be used to sample the sewage water. It has a container attached to a cable that is lowered into the water to obtain the sample. There is a small ball inside the bailer. It is displaced by the water once pushed into the water. As soon as the bailer is pulled out of the water, the ball drops to the bottom of the bailer, plugging the hole and leaving the bailer full of water. After taking our samples, we measured the pH using a pH meter, and we measured electric conductivity, salinity, and temperature of each sample using an X-Tech meter. We then used a custody seal to close our ice chest. For the water analysis procedure, we filled the cuvette with distilled water to blank out the meter. Then we filled another cuvette with sample water and added the reagent and placed it back into the meter. The measurement was read after the time was over. We did this to find out the readings for nitrite, phosphate, and chlorine. We took a dissolved oxygen sample and took the initial dissolved oxygen measurement. After a couple of weeks, we took another measurement to look at the difference. We found that it was first a 12, and then after 2 weeks, it went down to a value of 1. Lastly, we inoculated EMB agar plates with 1 times dilution and 1/100th dilutions to see if coliform was present and if it was compared to the control plates. Thanks and gig 'em!
Hey, woo!